Today is September 10th. Boone joins the show. Dominguez joins the Yankees. We got sharp stats. We got wins. We got the go button being pressed. Let's talk Yanks.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy Jake. Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, theme and hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talking Yanks.
So September 10th.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy.
Be a big day.
John Boy Jake.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy.
John Boy Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talking Yanks. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Jimmy. His name is Jake. Producer BBD in the corner. Yankees take game one against potential playoff adversary, Kansas City Royals. Dominguez is up. Berti's up. Go button been pressed. We're going to ask Boone, what changed? Jake, nice accessory.
James, Davis, everyone tuning in. As I'm making my slow progression into becoming a stout Steven Tyler that my mom raised me to be, I've got a ring, I've got a bracelet, and now I've got my Martian purse. Got me some looks on the subway. Excited to surprise Boone with this mid-interview, see if we could get a nice little one of his reactions. I did... We had one of our editors putting together a sizzle reel, and they put in our reaction, the initial Boone
Crisscross
applesauce, and then Boone's reaction to it. It was a really good cut. We'll probably have to get that in here some way. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I think this is gonna be one of the more fun ones for you and Boone because we're hitting all your keynotes. I mean, the whole Dominguez dance that we've done for this long.
I can't
and
believe...
then the rotation stuff coming up.
I can't believe they, tricked me. I don't know if I know them better than they know them,
Right.
which I think, we, a lot of people guessed it. But I said, if Dominguez isn't up by the Kansas City series, then this is crazy. And then, last episode, I'm like, dude, they're not calling anyone up. Yeah. Because Cashman came out and fucking said...
A couple days ago.
3 days, Cashman comes out and says, we think Verdugo over Dominguez is our best team.
Right.
That was September 6th.
Right.
On September 9th, so I was down.
And just a reminder...
And I was like, dude, I was a town crier of sadness.
Don't say I'm the town crier of sadness.
That's what I was.
Don't
And
say
then they get called up right before the Kansas City team. I'm like, didn't I fucking say that's what they were going to do?
And the interesting part with that is that Aaron Boone, our friend who we're talking to in a second, said that if Dominguez is on the team, he's going to play. So that statement from Cashman about Verdugo and our best team meets that statement from Boone with Dominguez is going to play. And it seems like in a 3-day span, how much could have changed when Verdugo is playing his best ball of the season. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, in a way, it's a great thing because it's, Nick Swisher on the pregame show is yelling about competition, bro, and competition. That's what it's about. And then Jack Curry kicks in and he says like a big word tastefully. It was a fun postgame.
It was a fun postgame.
Ruocco mixing and matching. I don't know. The fans you have to ask to receive. The fans have gotten their ask, but now it's what's it going to look like the rest of the way. Oswaldo with a solid game at shortstop, which I don't even want to say on here because people think it's like we're attacking Volpe. It's just like, no, Volpe can have off days like everyone else. That was good Paulio stuff last night. Michael, you remember, can you tell me Volpe's last off day? Michael's like, obviously not, Paul, but he probably knew. March 31st, the poop game.
Don't get me started on...
Should I get you started on that or not get you started on that?
The Oswaldo stuff is very odd to me. He comes in yesterday. He goes...
Should I have not gotten you started on this?
He goes...
You can tell by the tone in your voice.
He goes 1 for 3 with a walk.
Nice double.
And one of the outs was laced. 2 hard hit balls. I'll say this right now.
Say this right now.
At some point, they should have entertained the thought of Oswaldo, Volpe, platoon at short. Because Oswaldo from the left side is pretty damn good. Maybe select his select his
Selective.
players so it's not because a platoon lefty-righty means Oswaldo would play more. And I don't want that. Volpe's very good defensively and good on the base paths. But the fact that they just locked in that Oswaldo is doomed to the bench and Volpe is every single day player when statistically, offensively, same guys.
Same guys over the season, and Oswaldo for the past couple months has played much better.
And Oswaldo's got a better profile of like balls hit, at least in my perspective, and plate understanding, which he didn't early on in his career. So when he comes up, he ropes one, he has a good walk, and he hits a double. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is this guy just being buried?
Kind of a game-changing walk last night. Passed the baton to Verdugo. He hits his home run. We'll see if any of that comes up. Where I think we're kind of hoping no.
I don't want to talk about that. They've made it such a not combo that it's not a combo, but Oswaldo's been good every time he plays.
Just weird.
I think there's a couple things that people need to know. It's Tuesday, so it's our DraftKings Daily Fantasy League. I was just getting set up in there. Little teaser. Could see Austin Wells in my lineup, because why not? That guy's awesome. Join the John Boy Media DFS League today. There's a link in there. Top finisher each month, $100 to SeatGeek credit from John Boy Media. That's pretty nice. Or if you end up the regular season on top of the leaderboard, you get 2 World Series tickets. So go check that out. And it's fun. You pick your lineup. Oh, that's a good matchup. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, you know?
Yeah. You got me started and stuff.
I got you. I didn't know, man. You should have let me know.
I didn't.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten you started.
No, because I didn't. Because when I was watching the game,
Oswaldo was awesome last night.
and I blocked out all the stuff that I'm thinking about right now because of that.
Maybe
Because I don't want. Because I'm like, wait, what is this? What? We're not even allowed to entertain these thoughts.
That's the part that gets us.
You know, since June 22nd. 274 batting average, 340 on base.
Oh, boy.
421 slug, last
started.
107 plate appearances. This guy's just buried.
I got you started.
Like, how is it not easy to, like, anytime there's a righty, he's at any of the infield spots?
There's so many places to put him in.
With the way everyone's played this year.
Maybe the, what's that, the Happy Gilmore? It's Kevin Nealon, and he's doing block the bad, in with the good. Like, maybe that can help you get wrapped around that and maybe add some, like, words getting blocked.
We can work on it.
Let's talk to Aaron Boone. And we're doing it with Super Lost Coffee. Super Lost Coffee was founded here in NYC by 2 friends. Wow. Who want to make better coffee for both coffee drinkers and coffee farmers. Super Lost Coffee subscription program is all about giving you the best coffee experience without the hassle. Delivered straight to your door, 30% off all coffees, plus free shipping. Wow. They showcase small batch, carefully roasted coffee that's sourced from farmers they know and trust. If you run a cafe, restaurant, or office, that's what's changed the game at our office. Super Lost has you covered with their white glove wholesale program. Wow. Brewed locally in Brooklyn. Wow. Head over to superlost.com. Use code JOHNBOY for 30% off your Super Lost order. That's superlost.com. Promo code JOHNBOY.
Before we go to Boone, since June 22nd, from the left side of the plate, Oswaldo Cabrera, batting average, 311.
Good.
On base percentage, 381.
Great.
Slugging, 486.
Strong.
I don't know what's 81 plus 86, 167?
81 plus 86?
Yeah.
Okay, and then 300 plus 400?
700.
Plus 187? 888?
No.
878?
867.
867. That's his OPS. From the left side since June. He should be getting reps versus righties. He can spell anyone at any position.
Well, and it's one of our questions for Boone coming up was rotating Oswaldo in, and now we're wondering about rotating Dominguez in.
Yeah. Welcome back to Bantering with Boone. Booney, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Good to see you guys.
You were screaming after that Wells homer. I don't know if you remember because a lot of Yankees been blacking out lately, but they showed you in the dugout. and you were screaming. It was fun.
Yeah. That one was a good one. That was, fall behind there, let them give them a run there in the first, and then we kind of scratch back into it, and they take a lead there. I thought we had good at bats all night, especially off a Singer, even though we didn't totally get to them. I felt like the bats were good. We're hitting some balls on the screws for outs, and then that was one of those 3-run bombs that kind of takes the air out of the building and like relieves some tension. So that was a good one. Obviously, another big at bat from Austin there.
Singer's got a silly fastball. It's like a rising sinker. What is that?
Yeah, he's tough. I mean, he's obviously had a good year for them. I think they've been built on their starting rotation's been outstanding all year. So we're going to see 2 more good ones in this series. So it was good that we were able to get to them enough, and then obviously did some really good things late there against the Pen.
Pretty big day yesterday as far as roster composition. You get Berti comes up and Dominguez comes up.
Yep.
And on September 6th, Cashman has the quote where I thought he was coming out firm to let everyone know, where Cashman said Verdugo, and the Verdugo-Dominguez decision comes down to what gives the Yankees best chance to win. Right now, Verdugo in left field gives us the best chance to win. So I was like, oh, shit, that's Cash just telling everyone, shut up. 3 days later, Dominguez comes up. So, like, what changed in the decision, the best chance to win thought process?
I mean, I think I kind of said it yesterday. The roster's this kind of living, breathing organism that's kind of always evolving. And like I said on September 1, when I was asked, about Jasson, obviously, it's like he's in the discussion all the time and daily, frankly. And really, it's just been a little bit of a disjointed season for him, obviously coming back from Tommy John, then coming back and playing pretty well at the start, and then having the oblique injury, and then coming back from that, struggling a little bit to get rolling. And I feel like now he's put together a few really good weeks of consistent baseball. And, it was just time. He earned the opportunity. He'd been knocking on the door, frankly, for the last couple of weeks, and just paying attention to our situation and his situation every day, and felt like it was the time.
So it's more looking at what he's doing down in AAA and continuing to progress than what's happening. Because Verdugo had been hitting.
Yeah, I feel like Doogie's been trending in a good way the last couple of weeks now. And, so hopefully we can continue that and feel like we're a better team today with a couple pieces that we've added and added to our depth, and we'll just figure it out the best we can. And, it's all hands on deck now and trying to go win this thing.
Well, the athleticism adding Jazz, and now if Dominguez is playing, it's a whole different.
Yeah. I mean, Jazz, Dominguez, Volpe, like guys that can really.
Volpe too, but he was here. But I'm saying it was just Volpe for a while, and now it's
right. Yeah.
Now it's, it changes a lot, especially yesterday. I know Volpe wasn't there, but Cabrera's in there, and he can excite you. It's an athlete. It's not blazing speed like Jazz but you had also said, and Cashman had also said, he comes up, he's going to play, which I thought was, kind of what makes the decision tougher, because you don't want to have to, then someone's not playing.
Yeah.
Now, you just kind of talked about how you're going to have to figure it out, but in likelihood, you're in a division race. There's two guys. Do you have it in your head as a carousel, or is it Verdugo, Dominguez kind of?
No, not really. I mean, look, this, Jasson's going to play a lot, but I still value getting Judge a DH day here, and also I value getting Stanton a day here and there. So you just kind of, pick that tough righty where I get both lefties in there like I did last night. Like I wanted a lefty lineup against Singer last night. So kind of made some sense that was the day I could give G and get Aaron off his feet a little bit for a DH day. So just kind of piece it together like that as the schedule unfolds here and who we're facing.
So we get the Verdugo quote that any fan wants to look for. He comes out and he's like, "Hey, I'm here to win. Like if I have to sacrifice a little bit of playing time." Now every player wants to play. It's the whole point of sports, basically. Like is there any conversation that has to happen there, or Verdugo's a guy that's been in the league for 6 years and it's just like, "Hey, this is winning baseball. Yeah. We're going for it."
Yeah. I talked to Doogie. So. Yeah, those are conversations that have to happen. And again, like this time of year, not everyone's going to be happy all the time. Because like you said, these guys, especially all the guys in our room, want to play, want to compete, have confidence in what they can bring to the table, rightfully so. So there's tough decisions to be made on a daily basis when you're making a lineup, when you're, deciding rotation and all that. So, that falls down on me, and you got to make some tough decisions, and they're not always going to be the popular ones or one that everyone necessarily agrees with, and that's okay. That's part of it. You're allowed to be upset about it. You're allowed to be frustrated with it, but one thing you got to be is all in with us of, hey, we're trying to win this thing, and I feel like our room's in a good place in that regard.
Staying on the lineup, you got Oswaldo in there yesterday at shortstop, give Volpe a day off. You got Oswaldo in at first, in that St. Louis series. Something we were wondering, is he going to get more like maybe a start a week at different positions as you get closer to the postseason? Is there prioritizing getting him, just kind of reps at every position and at bats, like defensively or offensively?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, now, right now with DJ on the IL, he's essentially our backup first baseman too. So, I'll get him a start over there at first. It's a little hard to, like last night I started him at short, and I wanted to do that at some point just because Volpe's obviously carried the load there and pretty much no one else has played it. So it's like, I want to get him there though, just in case, something comes up, like he's got to go play that position. And then plus, just valuing at this time of the year, everyone's a little beat up and tired or whatever. Like, man, it's a good day to get my lefties in there again against Singer. It's like we're coming off a trip. I give Volpe a day. Hopefully that's something that works well. But I didn't. With him being the backup first baseman too, it's like I don't want to remove him from the game at all too. I want to keep him out there because he kind of covers me everywhere. That's the value of having Oswaldo on the bench too, is like no matter what comes up, Oswaldo go there and he can go handle anything. So, keeping that in mind too, but there'll probably be a start here at some point at first again, but not necessarily like prioritizing. I get him a start here or there. He's so good at getting his work in. He takes fly balls in the outfield. He shags all the time. He does all his infield early work. So one thing with Oswaldo, I never worry about him being ready or prepared.
What about with Berti? He also gets called up. How do you find time? Do you prioritize getting him some reps, late game substitute? Like what's his lane the rest of this season?
Yeah, I'm not sure, frankly.
Okay.
I think what's exciting is we're getting a really good player back that's healthy now, that I feel like, on his rehab got a lot of reps, so is ready for this. He obviously brings speed off the bench for you, can play like Oswaldo, can kind of go play anywhere. And gives you a right-handed complement on the bench. We got all of a sudden 2024, we got a lot of lefties now and a lot of lefty options off the bench and things. That's usually the case. So he gives us a good righty option off the bench that, in a way kind of complements Oswaldo too as that bench player, whereas Oswaldo's more the left side.
Would Berti be the go-to pinch runner right now? Like we've only got a smattering, we became part of the Duke Ellis hive, but like we've only got a smattering of Berti this year. But he obviously has a great base running history. Okay. So he would be the guy. Yeah,
no doubt. He would definitely, fall into that right now.
Okay.
And then if Oswaldo is, and I understand what you're saying, if he starts, you got to keep him out there, and you don't really want to lose him because you don't have another backup first baseman. So we've seen twice now where you pinch ran for Gleyber and then Oswaldo goes to second base late in games. Can that be a lane for Berti, like to shore up defense in a close game at second, pinch run for Gleyber, or just defensive replacement Gleyber at second base?
It could be. Last night was unique in that I had Volpe on the bench, which I pretty much never do, right? So, we had a lead there, and it's like, oh, you don't necessarily have to pinch run here. But I was like, well, I want to go put my best defender on the field in Volpe and with a lead, and I may as well change out the speed component of it in a pinch running scenario. But I don't want to remove Oswaldo from the game just because of that, that always safety net that he provides. So we'll see. Might do it a little bit, but we'll see.
Berti was playing left field in the minors. What was the thought behind getting him reps there? It was third base and left field.
He had played all infield and third base, and so I just wanted. I'm like, why don't you get a couple days in the outfield too, just so, because he hadn't really done that this year.
Okay,
and that's been something he's brought to the table in the past. So I was just like, let's get a couple days out there, and then I think even his last game in AAA, his last game of his rehab, he split it up. See, I think he started the infield and moved to the outfield. So just wanting to keep that versatility and flexibility, and him having some comfort of doing it, recently.
We got to talk a little bit of pitching before we get there. I want to leave baseball for a second. Do you believe in aliens?
No.
Wow.
Okay, back to baseball then. The rotation coming up. We had the Nestor piggyback, and he looked fantastic. As did Clarke and Heel. Pretty nice pitching series in Chicago.
Yeah.
What do we have for this week? Because we had, I think Nestor in his interview said it was gonna be 6-man, and he said he was gonna get a Boston game. What do we have the days lined up?
We do. I don't have Blake here right now, or Leia. Stroman's tonight.
Heel tomorrow.
Then it's Heel. Is it Heel Nestor Schmidt or Schmidt Nestor? One of those.
Is Cole getting pushed? Because Cole regular rest would be Friday. But if you
Cole goes Saturday. Cole's going Saturday.
Okay. So it'll be a 6-man rotation.
A true 6-man this time through.
Okay. And then so you just don't know if it's Heel, Schmidt, Nestor, or Heel, Nestor, Schmidt, but I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those.
Okay.
And then you go down to a 5-man after that?
Most likely. We have the off day going out to the West Coast. So we'd probably fall back into a 5-man then. But, we haven't had any conversations yet or determined anything as far as how we'll roll that out. So let's get through these next several days, and then if we have a tough decision to make, so be it.
Yeah, well, that puts I think that puts Cole in line for that first Baltimore series last game of the season. So that's nice. And then
he should pitch in that. He'll pitch in that series.
And then you got to look at, I guess, Heel and Rodon are right now. I know you're not going to make any big decisions. Look like the 2-3 options that you would have to start lining up.
I mean, I think I don't know. I mean, I think you can make a case for a lot of people next. After Garrett, I think everyone in that rotation, you can make a claim like, man, I feel pretty good about them in this scenario or whatever. So, they've all earned the right to be in that conversation.
With Nestor's quotes after the game, I loved them. I think a lot of people that read the second paragraph, the way it was presented to the public, liked him. People that just read the first acted like they're upset. But it's you talked about it a little, like there's tough decisions. But Nestor's kind of a guy that pitches better when he's fired up. I feel like you guys should just start making him mad before games.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, not everyone's going to agree with every decision or be happy with every, role they're put in a given time. But as long as we have one goal in mind, and whatever role guys are put in, it's like, be prepared and be ready for it. And we're all in on this. So Yeah, I was shown the quotes by Nestor and didn't have any issue. I mean, this is a guy he's ready to go. He expects a lot of himself and his teammates, and doesn't mean you have to like every scenario you're put in, but just go be ready to compete your butt off. And that's certainly what Nestor did this last time out, coming out of the pen, was awesome. And so really excited, proud of him for that, because I know he probably wasn't real happy about it, but at the end of the day, you got a job to do, and he went out and did it really well.
That series in Chicago, when the wind's blowing that much and home runs just really aren't an option, is that what's like the chatter in the dugout? Because that's like I'm not knocking pitchers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. So after the second game, so both the first two games, it was obviously blowing in. Where Giancarlo hit that ball to right center. That's like a no doubter, and it's caught at the wall. Judge hit one well. Anyway, so we're walking to the bus after the second game, and Matt Blake, who's never been to Wrigley Field, it's kind of like, wow. Kind of looking back, it's kind of amazing what Sammy did. This place is huge. I'm like, it giveth and taketh away, though. Like, there's days when you'd be singing a different tune walking out of here, especially as a pitching coach. So, it's a little bit of both there. So you get some cheapies on given days, and it'll take it away sometimes too.
Is that what happened with Verdugo on the tag up play? Luckily he's safe on replay, but is he like playing that because the wind and there's been some missed balls, an extra step, or?
Yeah. If you watch it back a little bit, you see Crow Armstrong kind of like
deke him, or
I don't know if deke him, but like get a little bit fooled by the wind a little bit. Like he flinched. So I think that caused Doogie to be out there another beat. Like, oh, is he missed,
yeah,
which I actually think he was misjudging it a little bit. So I think that's all it was.
With some of the other kind of still some sloppy play with Gleyber not covering, or Volpe, I don't know. There's two steals now where no one's covered. I think Trevino and Wells both got each. What's going on there?
Good question.
As fans who don't know the inside, all I know is Jeter.
The first one was miscommunication. Okay. Between Gleyber and Volpe, where they flipped the coverage for the first two strikes, and they flipped it back, and the other one thought the other.
Okay.
So that happened. The last one was just Gleyber started to break and felt like the jump was so good that there wasn't going to be a play, so he tried to hold his ground. Going back and looking at it on high home, it's one of those. It wasn't. You got to be there. So, there's times when a guy leaves blatantly early and you're going to hold your ground because there's going to be no play. But this wasn't that case. So he's got to continue on there. That's all it was.
As defense goes, I just want to pick your brain again. You have now Berti and Oswaldo Cabrera on the bench. I know he's the backup first baseman, and I do see the conundrum there, the need to make sure he's available if something happens to Rizzo. But Jazz has been great on hot shots. He's got an awesome arm, coming in on the ball still. There's been, sometimes where it's like, well, he's not a third baseman by trade. Gleyber has not had a good season defensively. With those guys on the bench, is there, as we get closer and we're in a race here, like?
Yeah, I think we need to stop with the Jazz stuff. Like, if you're not watching. I mean, he's made a couple mistakes over there, but it's been really good. It's been really high end.
The high end part, I think we fully agree on.
Yes.
I think it's a guy learning a new position.
Is fine. Like, we're talking 2 balls he didn't make coming in on a play, and maybe one of them was a do or die anyway. Like, so you can't just say, oh, he doesn't make the. Let's move it along. Jazz,
okay. All right. Well,
okay.
Okay. Well, then if that's not available for conversation, then I'll stick you on the other one, because Gleyber's been the worst second baseman of the league defensively. So you got 2 guys on the bench now with Berti and Oswaldo.
I would push back on that as far as the worst. He's made the most errors,
and
he has not been close to the worst.
No. Well, he's been good not offensively. Inside edge tracks poor plays as well, and Gleyber has 11 of those, 17 errors, so 28 poor plays. Next would be 16. I mean, he's been If I'm not talking about one, I'm going to make sure I get my points on the other. He's been very poor.
Yeah, the worst is a reach. He's made mistakes, no doubt about it. He leads the league in errors. I understand that, but there's also the good plays too that factor in. So to say he's the worst in the league is
okay. One of the worst. Is there?
So anyway, what we have now is a better, stronger roster.
Yes.
With so we'll do what we got to do in certain situations, and I feel like Berti and Oswaldo, give us flexibility and depth, and are both good defenders in their own right. So we'll do what we got to do.
And with Rizzo looking great, it does help the whole defense. When you have a first baseman playing like he is, because he looks like Rizzo from 2 years ago.
Yeah,
since
I agree.
He came
He's
back.
Playing really free and easy out there, like kind of playing fast but slow. If that makes sense, like the game's moving slow for him. He looks really good out there. I liked how he's looked at the plate too. I feel like he's given good. Even last night, he didn't get any hits. Smoked the ball his first time up, 110, I think, to the second baseman. And then the second baseman made a good play on him in the hole. I feel like he's having good, long, strong at bats. So, and hitting down the order a little bit, playing the kind of first. I feel like Anthony's in a really good space right now, and hopefully can be a key figure for us. Hopefully for about 7 or 8 more weeks.
Yeah, no, he's looked really good, and his ability to just punch the ball and go with the outside helped him in Wrigley with that wind. I was kind of laughing because it seemed like he understood, hey, guys, it's not going to happen. You got to do something else. And the guys who have multiple clubs in their bag got hits, and if you just tried to hit it far and high, it was just coming down.
The first day we got there, because Riz is always talking about the wind here, and it's like, everyone – he's always telling how hard it is to hit homers there, especially early in the season. And then that first day we're taking BP and the wind's blowing in and guys are stepping on some balls. And he's like, what do you think now? Hey, that was pretty funny.
For the bullpen last night, Jake Cousins comes in. My God, I know we get to cast some ballots when there's that righty ninth inning lane. I'd like to see it once. I know you're messing with the pieces back there, but holy smokes! And then we see Weave Dog in the eighth, and he fights back that 3-0. We get the now signature Weave Dog yell. If that stayed at 7-4, would that have been Canley's ninth inning? Because I think they had a couple lefties coming up.
I was going Canley at the bottom, and then if got to the top, I had Clay. So, just kind of mixing and matching. Again, trying to match these guys up where they fit the best, where they can be the most successful. So, Weave, kind of bobbed and weaved a little bit there with a walk and then falling behind 3-0, but came back with a vengeance and got 3 big strikes there to finish off a strong outing.
Is this a different guy completely than the Weaver you guys picked up who was a starter? It feels like he tapped into some reliever energy here, especially as he gets more high leverage. And you're like, oh man, there's a psychopath deep inside of you that we didn't know about.
Yeah, he's a really good competitor. His fastball is really playing, obviously. I feel like he's done some good work with the cutter and changing the shape a little bit, depending on lefty or righty. Recently, that's helped him. So he's an important piece back there, obviously.
What's the plan with the bullpen? I mean, just let it keep flowing how it is. I mean, do you want to find a closer, find Clay back in, like, is that the end goal by the time you get to the postseason? We have our guy, or are you comfortable?
I don't think necessarily at this point. I feel good about where a lot of them are at. Loved how Clay looked when he came in Chicago. Tommy, I feel like throwing the ball really well. Obviously, Cousins, you mentioned, getting Ian Hamilton in there last night. I thought he was pretty sharp. Hopefully we get lighter moving. The 2 lefties haven't pitched in a few days now, but they've been really good in their little spots too, especially Tim Hill that we've had for a while now. I feel like he's done a great job for us. So I feel like we got some good depth brewing down there. You may end up adding the starter to the mix back there that can be a part of it. So I'm just going to try and get these guys when we can in the best positions for them to be successful, or where we think they match up the best, and take it from there.
I like that. I mean, it seems like it's a little more freeing for you anyway to be able to play the lanes entirely and not have a lockdown. You're the 7th, you're the 8th, which is kind of what you were doing at one point with Wandy and King that season. Cool. Awesome.
I think we're going to get you out of here with the trivia presented by Beatbox. A little bit of a tough one today, Booney. Beatbox is the perfect pairing for a Yanks game. Do yourself a favor. Hit the link in the description to find a Beatbox near you. Your Yankees, while you've been managing, have 3 walk-offs against the Kansas City Royals. Wow. Who hit them?
Walk-off homers?
One is a home run. So this is a tough one. You've got a homer, a double, and a single. 22, 21, and 19.
Oh my goodness.
It's a tough one.
Against the Royals?
What happened? Can you give me what happened in 19? Was it the double, the single, the homer?
So 19 was the single, and this answer makes it the most fun trivia question. That'll be your hint.
Mike Talkin.
Close. A backup catcher.
The home run Stroka?
It was not. The guy he passed
Austin Roma?
Austin Romine in 2019 with the walk-off RBI single.
Don't remember that. Gleyber's got to be one of these.
21 and 22, you've got a couple pair of home run champs.
21 was what? A homer?
22 was the home run. 21 was a double. Both guys have been home run champions.
Stanton and Judge?
Judge was the walk-off homer in 22. Stanton is not who it was in 21.
21, who do we have?
Oh, wow.
Meaty first baseman, your 2020 home run champ.
Oh, Luke?
Luke Voigt had a walk-off double.
Thinking 21 was he? I guess he was, because he was hurt a lot that year, and we ended up getting Rizzo in at the deadline. That's right.
Yeah, banged up here.
Luke.
That's a lot of meat in that dugout.
Gary homered to tie it in the bottom of the 9th against Holland. In the postgame, a reporter asked you about Jasson, and your brain kind of was like, who? And I kind of was like, what? Who's he asking about? Is that just we're just not going to, we don't call him Jasson Dominguez or Martian?
I call him Hassan. So.
Okay. I saw your brain tick like, who the fuck's he talking about?
I was like, Jasson fella.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thanks, Booney.
The alien.
Yeah.
Recording stopped.
Giancarlo's a little bit of an alien.
Yeah. You got a couple. That's the Yankee scouting department liked aliens for a while.
Cashman says that. Big, hairy, strong guys is what he likes. We're going to talk about what we just talked about. Talk about it. Everyone's talking about it. LinkedIn, jobs. We use LinkedIn. That's how we find people. You want to use LinkedIn? Use LinkedIn.
86%. Would you say that's high, Jim?
Yeah, I think so.
Hitters would guess that pitch. Of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Yanks. LinkedIn.com/Yanks. Post your job for free. Bring in an extra outfielder. Bring in another reliever. Bring in John Berti.
John Berti.
What'd you get there, Jimbo?
From Boone? It was good. They're making the moves now. Like, they've hit the go button. So the tough combos, okay, we can have tough combos. I'm very interested to see the Dominguez and Verdugo situation because the way they're talking would lead you to believe Dominguez is starting and Verdugo is not, because they had said it's one or the other. You can't play both. But the way they're talking seems like they're going to maybe play both. But
they're going to maybe play both.
But but I don't know. And I think that's fine. Competition. But I'm interested to see how that shakes out. As far as the reliever stuff, I was happy to hear him say that they're not searching for a closer for the postseason. I agree with that. Like, let this is like what you guys tried to do, and then you just said Clay's got it. But yeah, like play the matchups. You got matchup guys down there, so I was happy about that. And then the Oswaldo, you heard me at the start of the episode, wanted to make a big push about him playing. The backup first base is kind of a thing. Like if Rizzo gets hurt,
it's what I said about the kids being versatile. Like you end up hurting yourself.
Yeah, he ends up hurting himself.
Oswaldo's been playing great.
Yeah.
That I get that thought process. For where we're at with Dominguez and Verdugo in the outfield, and yeah, Stanton will rest one game a series. Probably one of them will rest one game a series. But yeah, it's unfortunate. And kind of like you saw us wane in the early minutes of this program. It's like, I don't know. We know it's not worth fighting for at this point, but Oswaldo has been really good. And I will say this. It's playoff series get really real really fast. We saw it, and this isn't even a Volpe thing. That I'm prefacing that because we saw it with our shortstop situation a couple years ago. But you see it with any team, unless you're a Judge or Soto. Like if you have a bad playoff series, I'll use another team for an example. Let's say, let's say it was the Houston Astros, and Alex Bregman, first 3 games, was 1 for 12 with 9 strikeouts. They would debate doing something with him in the lineup, whether sliding him down or something like that. Like, playoff series happens fast that if someone's valve were to get turned off, having Oswaldo available is going to be really interesting. And if something were to get ugly like that, it would be nice to press the Oswaldo button. But I don't know. Yankees have a lot of guys that they bank on significantly.
Yeah. And then the Gleyber situation. If we're not allowed to be weary of Jazz, who never played the position, that's all. I'm not saying he's bad. Like
it's just a question of inexperience.
I'm more mad. I'm more mad about the Jazz than the Gleyber because you're just not going to get a manager to say his second baseman's the worst defender in the league, even though there is a ton of data there.
I don't need him to say that.
Yeah. And he has been subbing him out. The Jazz stuff's bizarre because why wouldn't you be open to having a more versatile roster if we see Jazz play second base?
Well, we're just talking about ninth inning defense replacement in a win.
And it's a new position for him. Yeah. And Oswaldo and John Berti were both very good at third base that, I don't know, like you're almost leaving yourself more. Yes, I know Jazz can make the high-level plays. He's struggling with pop-ups. It's a brand new position. You saw it the first play of the game yesterday. It cost us runs. The Jazz fielded it. You saw him field it so quickly that he was like, he thought for a second. And then he lawn darted one to first. The fact that's not on the table, with no disrespect to Jazz. We've loved Jazz. He's been electric. And I have him as our third baseman of the future. Like, what he's shown over there is very impressive. But, like, I don't want to make this a verb or however you do it, but they're claying him. Like, they're saying that he's so talented that, yeah, Jazz can play third. And it's like, yes, Jazz can play third.
Yeah.
But he's brand new.
He's looked way better than I thought.
Yes.
And that majority of players would look. It's just on balls coming in. I think it's been more than one or two that Boone said.
I think it's just routine. Like, are you counting yesterday's as coming in? Like, that was just kind of like a routine.
No, that was just a funky throw.
Like, I feel like he's had more of those than coming in.
Well, like
just
if
like you have that.
No, like look at teams that have figured it out have just bunted on him or dribbled it. Like, look at all those hits. Like, so in the playoffs.
But a couple of those dribbles were like non-defendable dribbles.
Sure, but some weren't.
Sure.
It's just a lot of infield hits right in front of him. I mean, in the short time.
Yeah.
It's like 10.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Just kind of like trying to read between the lines on it. Like, it's during the regular season, get him as much experience as possible. And if the playoffs come, maybe it becomes on the table. Early in the season, the times we saw John Berti, he came in late in games to play third base.
Well, yeah, but Gleyber needs to be.
Gleyber's been, and they've shown that.
Well, they've roundabout done it.
Yeah.
They've done it when they have like.
But they didn't have Berti play any second in the minors, so that's why I'm interested. Anything else? Rotation's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, at least he said they will be a 5-man coming out. And kind of what you're alluding to, like we can probably get there because they do need to. They don't need to line up the rotation if you win the division because there's so many like off days.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have my master chart here. So it's Stroman, Heel. Now I think they're going to go Schmidt after Heel because that keeps Schmidt on regular rest, and then Nestor gets the extra day, and Nestor kind of even said in his quote, like, "I'm the guy they just move around."
Yeah, I was in my head. I was kind of going opposite just because Nestor threw left pitches, so he's fresher.
Well, let's see with the off day.
Through
1,
less
2,
and
3,
Clarke
4.
coming back, have him get one more day. But
with the off day on that Monday, Seattle, it would be Stroman, Heel, and then you could go Cole if you want to keep him regular. I don't know what they're going to do, man.
Well, he did say they want Cole in the Baltimore series. Like,
yeah, I just don't think it. I just don't know if they're going to have him. They would have to. They would have to keep Cole regular and move Schmidt down if that's what they're going with.
maybe that next time through will be
but
Clarke gets a bullpen taster day.
Yeah, we don't know their priority. Like, their priority could be having Clarke come in out of the bullpen because they might need that in the playoffs. Like, they know their priorities. We don't.
Yes. I'm just trying to.
Or they.
What the fuck?
Someone in the rotation, whoever it is, they think would benefit from getting up to like 8 days off or whatever, like the Stroman thing. That helps.
Yeah, they could skip.
I don't know if anybody.
They could skip Stroman. Like, that's kind of like the way it looks right now. Is like if they wanted to just skip Stroman a start because he looked good after rest, they could. But I don't know if they're going to want to.
Only other theory that I've
things they
had
can
and
do.
put out there was like Rodon hasn't gotten his extra rest yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just want to find a time to get a little fresher.
Yeah, right now, if they just go to a 5-man and don't do any dancing, Cole isn't scheduled to be the first Baltimore game. He's scheduled to be the last Baltimore game and not pitch against Pittsburgh, which they might do that.
He'd be like in the clear for playoff participation.
And then Heel would be that last game. But, yeah. He wouldn't confirm those are the top 3 choices. Clarke's the only one I think you can say maybe. Yeah. All right. Well, we got Sharp Stats.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Queen of Stats here, and another episode of Sharp Stats. So there's been a lot of discussion in the Yankees Twitter sphere, I know, about the team's poor record against sub-500 teams. Yeah, you're supposed to beat up on the bad teams, and losing to them sucks, and it's frustrating for fans. But, you know, what does it really mean for the postseason? Because that's all that matters, right? So, entering Monday, the Yankees were 35-28 against teams with a losing record. That's a win percentage of .556, which ranks 22nd in Major League Baseball. Now, remember, when we say the Yankees are 35-28, that against teams under 500, that refers to their opponent's current record. So it might change as the teams they've already played move above and below 500. Anyways, so what I did is I looked at all teams to make the playoffs that had a winning percentage below .560 against teams with a losing record at the end of the season. So let's get to the basic numbers. First of all, there's, excluding 2020, there's 30 teams in this sample. So 30 teams have made the playoffs with that bad of a record against losing teams. The last one to do it was the 2019 Brewers. So that's, first of all, that's not a good sign. Now, of those 30 teams, 9 of them did win the pennant, so they made the World Series, and 5 of them actually won the World Series. All right, so those are the basic numbers. Now, we know that the playoffs are sort of a different beast in this wild card era, so let's do this analysis since 1995. In the wild card era, we now have 19 teams, excluding 2020. Now, 4 of those actually played in the one-card wild card game, and 3 of them lost. Not good. Of those remaining teams, 16 teams, 8 won the division series and 8 lost in their division series. And now we're moving on to the LCS. 4 lost in the LCS. 4 of those won in the LCS. So we got 4 teams to make the World Series in the wild card era with as bad of record against losing teams as the Yankees. 3 of those lost the World Series, and only 1 won the World Series. That would be the 2006 Cardinals. So basically, the bottom line, in the wild card era, the 2006 Cardinals are the only team to win a World Series in a season where they had a win percentage below 560 against sub-500 teams. As we know, that 2006 Cardinals team is basically considered the worst to ever win the World Series, as they have the worst regular season win percentage when they went 83-78 for any team that's won the World Series. Something to think about. Talk to you guys next week.
So, what do you think?
Thanks, Katie. That was brought to you by Roan. Let's all exhale a little bit, especially with Roan in their commuter collection, the most comfortable, breathable, and truly versatile set of products. Roan don't care who they're playing. They're bringing it every day and every occasion. Their 4-way stretch fabric, breathable, flexible, and works everywhere from your commute to the 19th hole. 2 places I don't mind being. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to Roan.com/Yanks. Use promo code Yanks. Save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to Roan, RHONE.com/Yanks. Use code Yanks. Time to find your corner office comfort. Man, this is a tricky one for me because I'm trying to think. Baseball's an imperfect sport. It's part of the reason some people are in love with it. The good teams lose a lot of games. The bad teams win a chunk of games. If you had told us, like, before the season, Yankees grab bag, like, ooh, what is this team going to have? And it was like, bad versus lefties. Not great against teams under 500. Because it's still like a winning record, Like, I realized Katie chopped down the stats into, like, hey, if you want to be a good team, you kind of need to be better than this. And I don't know, like, in a way, it's better they're struggling against under 500 teams than over 500 teams. You know what I'm saying?
I would prefer that going
Right.
to the playoffs. Be better against good teams.
Like, if you got those 3 options before the season, be lesser against teams under 500, be bad against teams over 500, be bad versus lefties. Like, I think I would hit the be not as good against teams under 500, but it is part of the frustration.
There's one potential playoff team that's worse than the Yankees against bad teams.
Okay.
The Braves.
Okay.
They're 32-29 against teams under 500.
Okay.
But then you got the Brewers are 17th. The Yankees are 23rd.
So I've got a couple game plans.
Okay.
Boston season is kind of heading downhill. They're
All right.
73-71. We've got 4 games against them. Let's 4-game sweep them. They're under 500.
Okay.
That cooks the books for us.
To end. Yeah.
We've got the A's and the Pirates too. It's one of those things, are those games going to matter or not? And that's, I guess, well, I want the Yankees to win every game. You can still cook the books on these numbers decently with a strong home stretch. I'm not going to bank on it because we've done that in previous stretches. But, yeah, like if we dominate Boston this year, because we've done good against them, right? We won the
I
last
would guess
series.
we've won, but it's close.
It's probably even on the season.
Like if we could get a
Close.
3 out of 4 against Boston and they drop before 500.
Because we've been
like,
bad against the East.
I'm trying to find ways to fake cook the numbers. We just beat the Cubs. Like, can
4.
they drop under 500?
We're 4-5 against Boston so far.
Okay. Well, we're about to sweep 4.
4-6 against Baltimore, 4-5 against Boston, and Tampa 7-6, and Toronto 7-6. Against the East
Right.
is more concerning for me, than against bad teams.
Yeah, if that was a 4th button offered,
Because those are supposed to be a little extra oomph. Division rivals, a little more
There's familiarity.
playoff familiar. Yeah. The familiarity thing is like, okay, this team has studied us and they've come to task, and that's what you get in the playoffs more than like the first time we went to Kansas City. It was like that was the last time we played a team and they had no idea how to play the Yankees, because then they went to Fenway and Boston stole like crazy,
bullied them,
and then after that, the rest of the league was like, Okay.
Right.
So that has me more nervous.
Yeah, I guess, we'll get R&D on it a little more. These teams hovering around 500, like the Seattle Mariners are 73 and 71. The Tigers are 73 and 70. If there's a way we could cook these numbers, I mean, the Red Sox, A's, Pirates finale is the best way to get those percentage points up. I don't know. It has sucked, and in a fandom way, it can make things brutal. But I guess at the end of the day, I'm not as freaked out about it because we're going to be in the playoffs and playing good teams.
Kind of chicken or egg for me is like, do the bad teams have more lefties?
How connected is that? Yeah.
Because I think the lefties issue is, if it's chicken or egg, I think I place more on lefties than bad teams.
Patrick Corbin, Nationals.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of bad teams. Just, do they have a lefty? Okay. We're screwed.
Nationals pitching staff.
If we look at the Yankees 2024 Yankees schedule and results, no, you know what? I can go the batting orders. Lefties. I'm going to just rip some teams off that had lefties throw at us. Houston, Toronto, Miami, Cleveland, Toronto, Tampa, Oakland. So I'm naming more bad teams than good teams, right? Detroit, Tampa, Angels, Giants. More bad teams there, right?
Yeah.
Those are all the lefties. Then Baltimore, Atlanta, Mets. So that's a good stretch of good teams that threw lefties. What did we lose all those games? Yeah, we went.
Yeah, that was a tough stretch.
We went 1-9 in that stretch. And then Toronto, Cincy, Mets. Angels, Rangers, White Sox, Detroit, Cleveland, Colorado, Nationals. Yeah, I mean, if you did the total, there's that one good stretch, but the lefties is more worrying for me.
Yes. The most worrying. Houston's got 2.
Yeah, dude. And Kikuchi did shut us down a couple times already this year. And he's won every game?
Yeah, they're 7-0 and Kikuchi starts. And Framber is rolling.
Scary.
Go check out the playoff bracket.
Check it out.
They are as far away as possible, in theory.
Check it out. All right. Well,
They'll be there.
thanks for tuning in. Love you guys. Go Yanks.
Go Yankees.